Welcome back to Statistics Made Simple, and I am Savita Balsang. In this video, I am going to explain many important definitions which are usually two markers, that is types of errors, then the critical region and the acceptance region, the critical value, null distribution, test statistic, sampling distribution, standard error, and its uses, single-tailed tests and two-tailed tests. Let us now learn the sixth definition, which is called as the types of errors. In testing of hypothesis, one is liable to commit two types of errors. The first one is called as the type 1 error and is defined as rejecting the null hypothesis H0 when H0 is true. The size of the test is the probability of type 1 error. So in terms of notations, it will be probability of, within brackets, write type 1 error, which is equal to probability of what is type 1 error. It is rejecting H0 when H0 is true. So the vertical line which you see stands for when, and this is denoted by alpha. Okay, so the probability of type 1 error is called as the size of the test and it is denoted by alpha. Next, we will learn what is the level of significance. It is abbreviated as L.O.S. It is the maximum size of the test and it is also denoted by alpha. So usually in a problem, alpha may be 5% or 1%. If we adopt alpha is equal to 5% level of significance, it implies that we are 95% confident that our decision about H0 is correct. Similarly, if I choose alpha equal to 1% level of significance, it indicates that we are 99% confident that our decision about H0 is correct. The second type of error is type 2 error. Accepting the null hypothesis H0 when H0 is false is called as type 2 error, and the probability of type 2 error is denoted by beta. So in terms of notations, it will look like probability of type 2 error is equal to probability of accepting H0 when H0 is false, and this is equal to beta. Let us now learn another important definition which is called as the power of the test. The power of the test is denoted by 1 minus beta. So let us substitute for beta in the next step. It will become 1 minus probability of type 2 error, which is equal to 1 minus probability of, write down what is type 2 error. It is accepting H0 when H0 is false. So 1 minus probability of accepting H0 when H0 is false turns out to be nothing but probability of rejecting H0 when H0 is false. So the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis H0 when it is false is called as the power of the test. Also note that alpha is called as the producer's risk and beta is called as the consumer's risk. Now type 1 error and type 2 error, they look very complicated. Please go through the definition several times and write it down so that you understand the concepts properly. Now the next definition, the seventh one, is the critical region or the rejection region, which is again an important two marker. Now let us consider a population of size capital N. We know that whenever we have a population, we can select many samples, not only one sample, but we can select many samples. So many samples of size n can be drawn from this population, and so let S denote the set of all such samples. Now among the samples which we have, like some of the samples may lead to the acceptance of the null hypothesis, and some others may lead to the rejection of the null hypothesis. Like I have already mentioned that whenever we set up a hypothesis, that is the null hypothesis H naught, it is a true statement, and this true statement will be tested for possible rejection. That means either it can be accepted or it can be rejected. Now, how do we accept or reject H naught? This will depend on the samples which we are selecting. So, some samples may lead to the acceptance of H naught and some samples will lead to the rejection of H naught. So, the samples which lead to the rejection of the null hypothesis, that is called as the rejection region or the critical region. When a question is asked to define a critical region along with a diagram, you can please refer to the diagrams which I have explained under one-tailed and two-tailed tests in the next few slides. A definition is the acceptance region, the set of all samples in S that leads to the acceptance of the null hypothesis is called as the acceptance region. The ninth definition is the sampling distribution, again which is an important 2 marker. So let us consider a population of size capital N from which samples of size small n are drawn. Now the total number of possible samples that can be drawn is NCN, which is equal to, I am denoting it as some k. For each of these k samples, we can compute some statistic. What is a statistic? It is a statistical constant based on the sample. So we can calculate something like the mean, median, mode, etc. The set of values of a statistic obtained for each of the k samples constitutes the sampling distribution of that statistic. So in simple words, what is the definition of a sampling distribution? The set of values of a statistic for all the k samples constitutes the sampling distribution of that statistic. So now I am going to explain this concept through an example. So what I have highlighted in the pink colored box, that is only for your understanding. It's only for your understanding, and so you need not learn it thoroughly for the exam. So let me take an example to explain the concept of sampling distribution. So suppose I have a population of size capital N from which a sample of size small n is drawn. Then using the units in the sample, we can compute some statistic. Say the sample mean x bar. Now this can be done for all the k samples of size n. Therefore, we will have as many x bar values as the number of samples. Then the set of all x bar values for all the k samples constitutes the sampling distribution of the sample mean. So what I explained in the paragraph in the previous slide can be easily understood by this example, which is in a tabular form. Now suppose k is equal to 5. That means we have 5 samples, and in each sample we will have 5 values. In other words, the size of each sample, that is small n, is equal to 5. So in the first column I have sample number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the sample values, I have 5 values for each of the 5 samples. In the first sample I have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. In the second sample I have 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. In the third sample I have 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. And in the fourth sample I have 10, 15, 17, 18, 20. And in the fifth sample I have the values as 14, 13, 19, 11, 16. So now understand properly that we have 5 samples and each sample is of the same size, that is n is equal to 5. Now let us compute some statistic for each of these 5 samples. So the statistic which I am considering is the sample mean, and you know that the sample mean is denoted by x bar. And how do we calculate x bar for raw data? Just add all the values and divide by the total number of values. So for the first sample, if I add 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 and then divide by 5, I get x bar value as 12.8. Similarly, for the second sample, the sample mean is 16. For the third sample, the value is 15. And for the fourth sample, the sample mean is 16. And for the fifth sample, the sample mean is 14.6. So the set of values of the statistic, in this case x bar, that is 12.8, 16, 15, 16, 14.6, is called as the sampling distribution of the statistic x bar. So this explanation is only for your understanding. It need not be learnt for the exam. The next important definition is the standard error, which is again an important one marker. The standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the statistic is called as the standard error. And some of the uses of the standard error are: it is used to decide the efficiency and consistency of the statistic as an estimator. Then it is also used to find the confidence intervals of an estimate, and it is used to standardize the distribution of the test statistic in testing of hypothesis. So the uses of standard error is also an important 2 marker. The 10th definition is called as the critical value or the significant value. It is the value of the test statistic which separates the critical region and the acceptance region, and it is denoted by K, which depends on the level of significance, that is alpha. The null distribution is the statistical distribution of the test statistic under the null hypothesis. The 12th definition is a test statistic, a statistic based on whose distribution the testing of hypothesis is conducted is called a test statistic. We will come across the test statistic for the next few tests which we are going to learn. Now, what is a one-tailed test or a single-tailed test? Suppose we want to test the null hypothesis H0 against an alternative H1 which is single-tailed. So single-tailed means it can be either right-tailed or left-tailed. Then such a test is called as a single-tailed test. Let us now learn what is a right-tailed test. So if I want to test the null hypothesis H0 against an alternative H1 which is right-tailed, then it is called as a right-tailed test. Let's take an example to understand this concept better. So suppose we want to test H0, mu equal to mu naught. So the value mu naught is a specific number which will be mentioned to you in the problem. Okay, versus H1, mu is greater than mu naught. So observe carefully, H0 is the null hypothesis and H1 is the alternative hypothesis which is right tail. So whenever we test H0 against H1 where H1 is a right-tailed alternative, then such a test is called as a right-tailed test. And in this case, the critical region lies to the right tail of the sampling distribution of the test statistic. So in the purple colored box, I have drawn a normal curve where the center line is z equal to 0 and the extremities are minus infinity and infinity. Now, on the right tail of the curve, I have highlighted or shaded in purple color. So the red arrow which you see, it denotes K alpha, which is nothing but the critical value. The purple shaded area is nothing but alpha, which is the critical region. So we know that the total area under the curve is 1. So if the critical region is alpha The remaining unshaded part is 1 minus alpha, which is called as the acceptance region. So observe carefully that for a right tail test, the critical region lies on the right tail of the sampling distribution of the test statistic. And note that K alpha is the critical value, and you know that the critical value is the value of the test statistic which separates the critical region and the acceptance region. Let us now learn what is a left tail test. Suppose we want to test the null hypothesis H0 against an alternative H1 which is left tailed, then it is called as a left tailed test. For example, suppose I want to test H0 mu equal to mu naught versus H1 where mu is less than mu naught, then it is known as a left tail test. And in this case, the critical region lies to the left tail of the sampling distribution of the test statistic. Again, here I have considered a standard normal curve where the center line is z equal to 0 and the extremities are minus infinity and infinity. Now, because it is a left tail test, I have shaded in green color towards the left tail of the curve. So the shaded part in green denotes alpha, which is the critical region. So the unshaded part on the right hand side and a little bit of the left hand side denotes 1 minus alpha, which is the acceptance region. Now the red arrow indicates the critical value, which is minus k alpha. For a right tail test, the critical value was k alpha. For a left tail test, the critical value is minus k alpha. And it is the value of the test statistic which separates the critical region and the acceptance region. The 14th definition is a two-tailed test. Suppose we want to test the null hypothesis H0 against an alternative H1 which is two-tailed. It is called as a two-tailed test. For example, if I want to test H0 mu equal to mu naught versus H1 mu not equal to mu naught, then it is known as a two-tailed test, and in this case the critical region will lie on both the tails of the sampling distribution of the test statistic. So now observe the normal curve very carefully. The center line is z equal to 0, the extremities are minus infinity and infinity. Now, because it is a two-tailed test, the critical region lies on both the tails of the sampling distribution of the test statistic. So the critical value, which is denoted by alpha, now gets divided into alpha by 2 and alpha by 2. So I have shaded on the right tail as well as on the left tail of the sampling distribution of the test statistic in blue color, and these two shaded areas denote the critical region, which is alpha by 2. So the unshaded part is 1 minus alpha, which is the acceptance region. Now here the critical value on the right tail is denoted by k alpha by 2, and the critical value on the left tail is denoted by minus k alpha by 2. So please remember the critical values carefully. That is, for a right tailed test, it is denoted by k alpha. For a left tailed test, it is denoted by minus k alpha. And for a two tailed test, you will have two critical values, that is k alpha by 2 and minus k alpha by 2. There are several definitions explained in this video, and each of them are very important to understand the concept of testing of hypothesis. Usually these definitions are 2 markers. Learn the definitions thoroughly. Thank you all for watching, and look out for my next video where I'll start with the large sample test, and I'll be explaining the first test, which is the test for single mean.